resources and services.
What would you do?
I'd fight against that. I'd try to reverse that as much as I possibly could. In addition to that, though, also the implementation of a neighborhood community service organization where we do, like many of us did, we went out there ourselves, we rolled up our sleeves, and we helped our seniors and our neighbors shovel out of the snow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with Rich. We need to, first of all, we had a lot of youth come and help us shovel seniors out, and in Jeffrey Manor, what I think, one of the problems that I saw that what I would do differently is not neglect the side streets. Because the main streets are plowed, but you can't get to the main street if the side streets aren't plowed. So we can't neglect the side streets. We can't wait 3 or 4 days to get to those side streets. We have to make sure that those side streets are plowed to get to the main streets as well. Because a lot of us, the main streets are plowed, we're parked on the street or in our driveway. When the plow comes through, then we have to dig out again to try to get out. So we can't neglect the side streets.
Thank you. Mr. Clark?
Yeah. Being with the Chicago Fire Department, we have problems coming in here. This is a maze. Number one, the cul-de-sacs. We have to get rid of some of these cul-de-sacs. That's why you can't get the emergency vehicles in here. You have to remember, the emergency vehicles have to come in first. Fire department, ambulance, police department. Cul-de-sacs, I would try to remove some. The speed bumps in the alley are stopping us also. In an emergency, we have to come down an alley. The speed bumps in the alley, does anybody have the problem where the water's going into their garage now with the speed bumps in the alley? That has to be removed. Not all alleys.
So let me understand, you're saying remove the cul-de-sacs.
Some of the cul-de-sacs.
And remove the speed bumps?
Some of the speed, right, for the emergency vehicles to come in. Now, when you come in here, has anybody driven or gone to somebody's addresses here? You know, it's really, if you hit the wrong street and an emergency vehicle has to get in there within, we have to respond within 2 minutes.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand about the snow now.
Okay, the snow cannot be removed by the large vehicles the way the cul-de-sacs and the streets are so narrow. What we do on our block, we hire a small truck. We get small trucks with plows to come down the alleys. The city trucks cannot come down, they're too wide. We have a block club.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jeffrey Manor, like some neighborhoods, has its challenges with the 2 cul-de-sacs, one off of Colfax, another one off of Boxy. It has the narrow streets and the winding streets like Bensley and Calhoun. But what I would do is continue to do what I did this past winter. Get in the truck with my streets and sand supervisor, shovel snow, push cars out. Sharon, you experienced that personally, and make sure we're coordinating, having a hands-on approach. And we did that. One of the things that I did in Jeffrey Manor here was meet with the truck driver who was responsible for this. He was not familiar with the neighborhood. We went over a map to ensure that he knew all the curves and cul-de-sacs, and we actually drove around and had him follow us for about 2 hours so that he could become familiar with that. We gave that same map to the next driver so that there was consistency as much as possible so drivers are familiar with the neighborhood and the nuances to ensure that the snow could be removed as quickly as possible. And of course, like anyone, encourage people to get out and help out.
Thank you. So did everybody give us their snow plan? Actually, some of them were pretty creative because I promise you in Jeffrey Manor, we really go through with the snow. The next question is, the alderman in the Inglewood neighborhood used some of her TIF funds to help the homeowners to improve their properties. Would you be willing to do that, and specifically, what with the TIF funds would you do to help us improve our properties if you believe in that? Okay, we're going to start with Ms. Sue.
Yeah, I think TIF funds are, like I said, we have $25.8 million just from last year sitting there. That money could be used to help sell abandoned buildings, to make sure to revitalize those buildings, and people could buy them at a lower cost. One of the things that they've done in other wards, not just the Inglewood aldermen, but they used TIF funds in the first ward to help youth offenders that were convicted of felonies. They put, after they got out of, because no one wants to hire a felon, so what they did is they used those TIF funds to hire 28 kids, 28 adults now. They put them through Dawson Technical Institute, and after 8 years, 24 of them are still working. Let's utilize those funds to do something to help our community.
To help them with the TIF funds, to hire them to help with the
To help with the homes, we can
TIFs also. But we have to stop raising these homes. We have to stop leveling them. Those are jobs. We can rehab them. We have a lot of construction workers, a lot of neighborhood people who need work. We can buy these homes at a low price. There's too many empty lots here, and they're being raised without our permission. We can use, besides building new homes, we can use these old homes and just remodel them. Don't raise them.
Thank you.
Remodel them. My house is a sleepy quarter foot of, am I done? Or? My home used to be a sleeping quarter for the merchant marines.
Thank you. You
Huge
did
house.
tell us that.
Huge house.
The White House.
We have used TIF dollars in the 10th ward and will continue to use TIF dollars as the question asked for home ownership. Actually, just last week we had money available for 13 property owners in the South Chicago neighborhood to get up to $12,000 to fix their homes. We had a lottery. There was 14 applicants who applied, so only 13 were available. We've done this multiple times throughout the ward, and not just for homeowners to get the much needed roofs, doors, windows, but also business owners to fix their property, the windows, doors, canopies, lights, to make them more attractive, more functional, more safe and sound. So we're already doing that and continue to do that.
Okay, so yeah, this plan has been implemented anyway. It actually has been implemented in the 10th ward as well. Recently, I attended a meeting for the South Chicago TIF district, where this program is being implemented, and you are allowed to use up some of the TIF money for the exterior of your property up to like 80%, and if need be, you can use some of that TIF money up to 20% to do the inside of your home. So it is already happening, but it's not in all the TIF districts. I think they're targeting the one that that's probably doing the most. So yes, you heard that where we from the two was invited to incorporate the same program in the other neighborhood. Like I said, it's 80% exterior and 20% in the interior.
Well, the way I feel about the TIF program, tax increment financing, it was supposed to create redevelopment and go into that, into bettering the community. But what we're seeing is that this money is actually being stolen from us, our tax dollars. So what I would say, I think that this program has been way too corrupted and perverted.
What would you do with it?
So what I would do, I would call for an end to the tax increment financing program because we're not getting our fair shake anymore. And I think that we can't expect that this company, that the city is actually going to give the money to the people because they have it. They have that on that. And just, like I said before, this is like if someone steals money from you.
So you're saying you would discontinue the TIF
So what I'm
dollars?
saying is that this program is that if someone steals money from us, and then you help them decide how they're going to use it, we need all of it, all of the money.
Thank you.
I do agree with using TIF funds to help better the neighborhood and to help supplement some of the costs that homeowners have to face on a daily basis to revamp their homes. I would like to use the funds to help, wash the graffiti off the buildings and update a lot of the brick around here. We have brick homes, they need tuck pointing and roofs and things like that that need to get done. So as far as using the TIFs, I believe, well, they're meant to cause, an economic stimulation. You want to bring, residents in that want to purchase homes and live in these communities and stay here. So by fixing the streets and fixing the sidewalks and offering these programs to supplement some of the costs to the homeowners, I believe would make the homes in the neighborhoods beautiful again and would entice more families to come in and live in the neighborhood.
I support this initiative as well, but we have to start with educating the residents, constituents of the ward from the alderman's office to let them know where are our TIF districts, how much money is in there. We have to have much more transparency. Many people don't know how the TIF dollars are used or where they're going or how they're spent. It's my job as an alderman to educate the community, let you guys know where it's at, to have you participate and have a say as to where those dollars are allocated as well. And our campaign has called for my office as the alderman to give an annual report to the residents of the ward and for the city council to give a quarterly report to the city taxpayers to know where these monies are being allocated.
Okay, thank you so much for your input. The next question. There is a smell in Jefferson Manor. You know, it's not corruption. If you, before I start this question, how many actual Jefferson Manor residents do I have in here today? Okay, so you all know what I'm talking about. It might be funny to you, but it's not funny. It's a smell that overtakes our community really in the summertime. It comes from one of the factories over there on 100th Street. Say that again. Agrifine. So we'd like to know what can be done about that horrible smell. And they say every summer, I smell it all the time, every now and then in the wintertime. It can't be good for us, and what would you do about that? I'm going to start with John.
Yeah, during my time in office, I've worked with small and large businesses to address problems. The landfills, waste management had historically treated this southeast side as a dumping ground, literally and figuratively. We got them out. They tried to come back a couple years later, we got them out again. Right now, we're all fighting the Petco battle. We're successful
Is that
at
the smell that we're dealing with?
The smell, I think what you're talking about is coming from Agrifine.
Yeah.
That's a business that, yes, they're under investigation right now. As a matter of fact, the Attorney General has a case with them. She initiated action with the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency because of some of the odors and to identify ways to improve it. Now, I know the business has made over $1 million in cleanup to their property, investments to reduce that smell. They're currently working with the water reclamation.
What, I really can't hear it. What specifically can or would you do to help us improve that?
Continue to work with the business and the enforcement agencies to ticket them and fine them and have them make the improvements to get rid of that smell. They've enclosed their heating and ventilation system already. It appears that the main problem is that their discharge water is the source of the odor. They're working with the water reclamation district to somehow treat that so that it doesn't create the odor that we smell there.
What causes that odor?
It's just-
You said the discharge, what are they doing in there? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Boiling animals.
I can tell
They've
you,
Excuse me, he's still up.
Oh, I can tell you
Right,
about
Mr.
it.
Darrell. They're doing what?
They take vegetable product, basically food and vegetable products, and heat those, mix those, and it's used as another source for the...
Somebody said animal part?
Yes, animal
I
part.
can tell you about that.
That's the smell you have.
Okay, all right, when I get to you, Ms. Ogle, I'll allow you to say that. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.